Bullock needed another hit to keep her career in motion. She found it with 1995's While You Were Sleeping.
But I do have this.
In the romantic comedy, a series of misunderstandings leads the family of a coma victim to believe Sandra is his fiancée. She almost didn't get the part because it was originally written for Demi Moore.
It came across my path. I fell in love with it. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it, but because of another freak called Speed, it opened doors that I never thought possible.
If there were one place in the world where you'd go, where?
Florence.
Italy. Oh, I haven't delivered any furniture to Florence yet, but I'm told it's nice.
She has a real good motor. You know, she's very animated. She's very curious about life. She's very embracing of a lot of things.
I had a lot to live up to in terms of a good work ethic. I had a good example of parents who made a career that was impossible at that time as opera singers who worked themselves to the bone to get where they are.
Sandra earned a Golden Globe nomination for While You Were Sleeping. Next, she tried her luck with a drama.
I tried to make it a comedy. Erwin had none of it.
The Net was directed by Irwin Winkler. He cast Sandra as a genius computer hacker who stumbles on dangerous software and is marked for death. After The Net, Sandra stumbled at the box office. The film was Two of My Sea, which she wanted to make because it was written by Dennis Leary, who also co-starred.
I got the script because I heard he wrote one. I said I'd love to read what Dennis has written just for the hey-ho of it. We called them. I called it because I really wanted to do it, and at that time, you know, it's not something that they would have seen me in the role. And I remember there being some reluctance. Not from your part, though. Not from Dennis's part.
Even after the disappointment of Two of My Sea, Sandra tried drama again. This time it was for her friend, director Joel Schumacher. The project was A Time to Kill.
The briefs he asked for when you... I got lucky. I got really lucky. I'm really proud of this one. I'm really proud of this one a lot.
The movie, about racism in the South, co-starred Matthew McConaughey, who also dated Sandra.
What the broad author does, man, I'm not getting any more lines. Talking to the author is not going to get you anymore. He's a great listener. He'll listen to anything you have to say, and I just told him everything the mistakes that I made. But, as I've said before, I learned more from Matthew than he did from me.
Sandra's career soon went into a sophomore slump. The year was 1996, and both Two of My Sea and In Love and War were released to dismal box office.
You know what I read once? Italian men, they respect their wives, they spoil their mistresses.
In Love and War, the story of a love affair between novelist Ernest Hemingway and a nurse looked promising on paper. It co-starred Chris O'Donnell and was directed by Richard Attenborough.
I had dinner with her, and she said she would do it on one condition, that I would prevent her from relying on her personality only.
Me being such a contemporary and such a 90s chick, you know, you have to remove everything that's familiar and keep it internal. If you feel it, you can't express it.
But despite Bullock and Attenborough's intentions, the studio had other plans for In Love and War.
The studio, it was like they wanted the Chris and Sandy show, the cute couple next door show, which is impossible to do when you're telling the story of Ernest Hemingway in World War I.
After In Love and War came yet another disappointment, Speed 2 Cruise Control, the sequel to her biggest hit.
When she signed on to do Speed 2, she committed to the movie before there was even a script. And when Keanu Reeves did not sign on, Sandy stuck because she is a person of her word and she was committed to it. When that didn't do well at the box office, she realized that there had to be some changes.
It was Speed 2 that gave Sandra the chance to bring a pet project to the screen, Hope Floats.
I chose this long before I chose Speed, and then this was sort of being played around with while they were, you know, talking about Speed, and it's one of those discussions. They say, well, if you do Speed, you can greenlight a smaller film like this, and that was the great thing about Speed, is that even though it unfortunately had its own shelf life, it bought something that usually doesn't get the chance to be greenlit.
Hope Floats co-starred singer Harry Connick Jr. and was one of the first projects from Sandra's new production company.
She formed a production company called Fortis Films so she could have a bigger say in her career. Her sister Gesine runs it with her. She brought in her father to help handle her finances. And she really began to learn the ins and outs of filmmaking.
You're involved in it till the last edit is made and the last score and the last screening is done, just so you feel like you can't run around complaining that it should have been done differently.
She ruled the set, but she didn't need an iron fist. I mean, she knew so specifically what she wanted that, you know, everybody listened to her. I mean, she really knew what she wanted to do, and she was cool. She would say it, and whatever she said, we would do it.
Sandra rekindled her love of movie making by producing, writing, and directing a short film, Making Sandwiches. It was shown at the prestigious Sundance Film Festival.
We're really glad to be here. We're really shocked to be here.
As I sort of became disillusioned with the process a little bit throughout the year, I like making films. I like roughing it. I like people, you know, the electricians helping the gaffer, helping the craft service. And to me, you can feel it. You can get into the spirit of making the project and feel like you had a hand in it, whereas the larger productions that you get into, everyone has their place. You're not union, you can't touch that fork. And that really bothered me.
And that perhaps was the best film experience for her at that time, because in doing that short film, she really learnt what it took to get a movie together. She learned everyone's job on that set, because she did everyone's job on that set.
But despite her pleasure with the result, Sandra decided directing was not for her.
I don't feel the need to direct at all. I don't have the talent, the patience for it, at least now in my life. I cannot foresee it happening anytime soon.
Even so, Sandra was itching to learn new aspects of the business, and she got the opportunity with her very next picture. Sandra Bullock grew up around music.